Okay, we have the thumbs up. Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of Richmond. My name is Suzanne Short, and I am honored to be serving this community on its board of directors. I'm a second-generation Unitarian Universalist and the proud parent of a third generation. Welcome to those that are joining us here in the room and virtually from near and far. We're grateful to be able to connect with you. If you are a visitor here today, we're so glad that you found us. We welcome you and thank you for spending time with us. Our church was begun in 1833 as a liberal Christian community. We are now a community of many faith journeys and beliefs, guided not by a creed, but by a covenant to uphold shared principles marked by love, respect, and justice. Our faith community continues to work together to put our UU principles and values into action and to build beloved community and serve the purpose of justice for all here in the Richmond community and abroad. We welcome you to live these principles with us as you continue your spiritual journey and join with us in choosing to side with love. If you are a visitor here today or new to Unitarian Universalism and would like to learn more about our faith and our community, we invite you to check out our website, join our Facebook group, and reach out to us at membership@richmonduu.org. Now for a couple of announcements. It's not too late to get on the bus for climate justice this Tuesday. Join Reverend Lauren, Anne-Marie McCartan, and First UU's Earth Care Initiative as they head up to D.C. for a national day of action to urge our nation's 4 dirtiest banks to divest from funding climate chaos. There will be singing, marching, and a rocking chair rebellion featuring elders sitting vigil in brightly painted rocking chairs because our grandchildren deserve an earth worthy of inheriting. It's also going to be beautiful in D.C., the peak of the cherry blossom season. Reach out to Reverend Lauren to get on the bus. Let me tell you where I'm going to be on Tuesday, March 28th at 6:30 p.m. at the largest annual social justice gathering in Richmond, along with many of you and 4 of our city council members. For those of you who want to add power to our numbers by coming out, sign up at the RISC, which stands for Richmonders Involved to Strengthen Our Communities, table out in the hall. Help us urge our community officials to implement sustainable solutions for Richmond's current inhumane mobile home living conditions, lack of affordable housing, and our gun violence crisis. As of Monday, March 13th, 48 generous households have pledged $224,050, or 24% of our goal. Wow, that's great. We hope to be between 25 and 30% by the third week of our campaign, but there's still time to make your commitment. Please stop by the table in the lobby to make your pledge. We are proud of you, but most importantly, we hope you are proud of yourselves. Our goal this week is to get to $285,000, or an additional $60,950. Please do be a part of the progress. Now I would like to introduce this week's Generosity Ambassador, my daughter, Alex Short.
Good morning. My name is Alex, and I'm here to share with you why I pledged to the First UU. So as a third-generation UU, I grew up in this church, and as a youth, this congregation provided me with quite the numerous opportunities to enrich my life. With the help of some really great youth leaders and Reverend Jean, the First UU became my second home when I was a teen. Sorry, I'm nervous. I taught pre-K religious education for like all my years in high school. From that, I had numerous babysitting opportunities. Leading up to now, all of the children I babysat when they were in preschool and elementary school are now in the high school youth group, and I'm now providing them their high school youth group. I know I'm young, but it makes me feel old too. Youth group was a great opportunity in high school, as well as the OWL curriculum, which now that I'm older, I really appreciate. GA, and lifelong connections and friends. With my pledge and my time at UU, I hope to serve this congregation and help allow this congregation to provide its future generations and its youth with the same opportunities. There are many ways you can pledge and give. There's a table out in the hallway. If you would like to pledge here, there's also ways online, as you can see from the slide up here. Thank you, and I encourage you to pledge.
Good morning. Good morning. Let's have that again. That's right. Good morning. That's awesome. I am Reverend Lauren Levewood, and I am honored to serve as one of your assistant ministers here at First UU Richmond. And at the top of our service every Sunday, we like to welcome people who are here for the first or maybe second time. So if you are visiting with us today and you're comfortable letting us know who you are, raise your hand. And our minister of the mic today, some people back here, will be bringing you a microphone. So Suzanne will be bringing a microphone around.
Hello. This is our first time today. This is my husband, Paul. My name is Katie. This is our son, Calman, and our daughter, Ari. We're a young family, and we are very excited to be here and learn about this congregation.
Welcome.
Thanks.
Don't be shy. Anybody else out there? Okay, thank you, Suzanne. And I would also like to give a really warm welcome to our guest minister today, Michelle Nearly. This is Michelle. Michelle is a human who is relearning what it means to live in a body, and will be sharing some of those thoughts and wisdom with us today. She is currently a yoga professor in the dance and choreography department at VCU, and has developed a program called Interconnected Wellness, which she leads at the Richmond Weinstein JCC. Michelle graduated with a Master's of Divinity in 2021 from Union Presbyterian Seminary in Richmond, and in the last few years, she deepened her inquiry into her own and our collective traumas and has reaffirmed that healing happens in and through our bodies, interdependent with environment. She is married to Luke, and together they are dog parents to Peanut and Leroy. And after a decade of calling Virginia home, they are planning to move back to their home state of Pennsylvania, close to family, in the next several months. So we're so glad to have Michelle here with us today. So now it's time to take a moment to turn to folks nearby and greet your neighbors this morning. So I invite you to do so. And let's take a moment to enjoy our prelude from Margaret Stokely.
Good morning. Here you are. Whether in this physical space or on Zoom, you are here in your body. My name's Michelle Nearly. I use she, her pronouns, and I am so grateful to be with you today. Gabrielle Roth said, between the head and the feet of any given person, there are 1 billion miles of unexplored wilderness. Our bodies carry us through this life. No matter the situation, body is here with us. Our bodies also have things to tell us. But that invitation to an inner relationship with body can sometimes feel like unexplored wilderness, and certainly vulnerable. This morning, we will inquire what it means to inhabit a body and safely invite body to be known, cherished, and celebrated, whatever our historical relationships with it have been. Come, let us worship together in body, mind, and spirit.
And for our chalice lighting this morning, I'd actually like to invite you all to rise, if that feels good. Take a breath. Let those shoulders drop. And actually look around and notice the space around you. Notice the other people, maybe notice the trees beyond the window. And you can let your body help you notice the space by turning around, maybe stepping into the aisle a moment. Just take a moment to wander for a few steps, feel your body moving. Oh, I see some stretching happening. And notice the space three-dimensionally, and notice that your body, oh my goodness, is more than just this one two-dimensional thing, but it's three-dimensional too. And then take another breath, connecting with the ground and the earth underneath. You might want to do a little bounce. Feel your knees bend. Sometimes I like to think of bouncing the earth like a ball under my feet. And then put a hand or two somewhere on your torso and just take a centering breath. That's nice. And from this fire within and the fire deep within the earth underneath our feet, we will connect and light the fire of our chalice this morning. And you're already standing, so you can just remain as you are, and we will sing our opening hymn, number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Witness the mystery of the
Our reading this morning is We Are Worthy by Elandria Williams. We are worthy not because of what we produce, but because of who we are. We are divine bodies of light and darkness. You are not worthy because of what you offer, not because of what is in your mind, not for the support you give others, not for what you give at all. You are worthy and are whole just because. In this great turning, in this great pandemic, in this radical readjustment and alignment, we are not disposable. We are needed. We are the very people that have withstood everything. Everything that has been thrown at us as a people, and as Maya Angelou would say, still I rise. We arise from the pain. We rise from the grief. We arise from the limits people place on us and the limits we place on ourselves. We rise to be the children and the ancestors. We rise to be our true selves in relationship to our families and communities, recognizing our liberating and whole selves, honoring them and others as we strive for abundant communities, abundant lives, abundant relationships, and abundant values and cultural manifestations. We are worthiness personified. We are worthy and deserve a life where we are not always fighting for our existence. So imagine what we could create if we were not always in the struggle. Imagine what we could envision if we could just be let to be, just go there. So tired of always having to resist, to fight, demanding, pushing, to everyone that has the courage, the power, the ability to co-create what we want and need while rooting in what we can't lose and who we are. You are the visionary. You are the hope. You are our ancestors' dreams. No, you might not ever end up on some list somewhere, but you are on a list in someone's heart and mind. And if it's in how you move in the world so people can see by example, you are the embodiment of what we need. So thanks to all that are the embodiment not of productivity, but the embodiment of radical love, care, and sanctuary. It's time. Embodiment time. Embodiment. Living one's values out loud. Let me, every day, live my values out loud. Let us, every day, live our values out loud, embodying our values, not the productivity quotient. Past productivity, true embodiment, life.
We need each other as we hunger to give and thirst to receive in all of our days. We need each other. In the joy of celebration and when our sorrows linger long, we need in creation and in every word, every dance, every song. We need each other. In discovery and learning and in the mystery of art, we need in our yearning, blessing every face, every hand, every heart. We need each other.
Thank you. That was lovely. So we're going to come into meditation, a time of meditation, and do things with resonance of the ancient practice of humming. So what we just heard was really beautiful. This practice is not to sound beautiful. So this is going to be a practice of being with your own and others' resonant bodies. So there are 4 parts that I'm going to explain here. I think there are 4 parts. The first few hums that we do are to sense our inner experience of a vibrating being. Okay, so you might choose during those few to have your eyes closed. You could even just plug your ears, because that's going to intensify that experience if you'd like. So, and then, and there may be areas that you sense and feel in your body that are high or low resonance, no resonance, surprising resonance, whatever shows up. So we'll do a few rounds of that. And then I'll cue us, and I'm going to cue us with like just a little, like maybe like this. I'll do this. So that's to keep humming, but hear also your neighbor's humming, to be in tune with your own humming and your neighbors to either side, maybe behind you as well. Okay? And then we're going to expand it a little bit more. Stay humming in your own being, but also take in and listen to the resonance within the room of the hum. All right? Then, so I'll bring us in, I'll kind of do this for that. Then I'm going to just encourage us while we're doing that to maybe take one of your hums out and just be a listener. But stay embodied with what you're feeling and sensing from the hums around you. And then that's it. Then maybe I'll do one of these so that we just make a big hum, however it sounds, and then we'll go right into the meditative hymn. Is that good? Okay. All right, so I think we all know how to hum. I like to hum kind of like low. I try to take it low because I need some of that grounding. But you can take it to whatever, play with it, feel it. All right, so let's center ourselves, perhaps close your eyes. Maybe plug your ears for a few seconds for a few hums, a couple hums. And we'll begin. Invite a breath in and start humming. Inviting your neighbor's hums in. Inviting the whole room's hums in. Being just a listener, being a hummer at times. Strengthening your hum, strengthening your hum.
We can jump around if you like. Good morning. My name is Margaret Rush. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm your administrator here. And I just realized I wasn't close enough to the microphone. It's my honor this morning to talk to you about Share the Plate. And I need to give you some of my own background. And it's part of the reason I'm up here. Early in 2004, very freshly divorced, I was house hunting as entertainment and hoping to find a place. And I ran across an agent who we got to talking, because that's what you do with agents. And he suggested that I get in touch with Better Housing Coalition because of my circumstances. I did. I filled out all their forms, because there's lots of forms at Better Housing Coalition. And after a few days or weeks, I forget exactly, John, the person at Better Housing Coalition, called me, and I have never forgotten how he phrased it. I have bad news and good news. The bad news is you're poor. I know that's not what you were planning on when you came out of college. The good news is we can give you every grant available to you. One of those grants was home. Home is Housing Opportunities Made Equal. It's a Virginia nonprofit, HUD-approved housing counseling agency. It was born in 1971 out of the necessity to enforce the Fair Housing Act of 1968. And as long as discriminatory practices prevent access to housing, Home will continue to help protect the rights of all Virginians. It tackles systemically divisive housing practices through fair housing enforcement, research, advocacy, and statewide policy. Home also helps first-time home buyers, which is where I qualified, and homeowners under threat of foreclosure. While unequal access to housing and credit contributes to the growing wealth gap, Home's multifaceted approach is a powerful catalyst toward furthering fair housing. Thanks to Home, I have a home in a wonderful neighborhood. I'm still there 19 years later, still happy and still extremely grateful. I want to encourage you to be generous for Home. They do very good work. Thank you. Ushers are passing around baskets, and there are ways to give online on your screens. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Last year, I received a phone call from the doctor about a recent breast MRI. When I heard we detect suspicious tissue, we need to schedule biopsies, zip, I was on board. Quickly, MRIs with biopsies were scheduled, and I just went with it. This procedure was done while awake, and I am grateful for medical science for many things, including local anesthesia, so I couldn't feel any pain. Still, I was anxious about my living tissue being extracted. But like many people do, we get through these things and much more. One of the take-home instructions stated, "You may resume most activities after your biopsy, including going to work." What? This instruction suggested to me that I shouldn't be feeling as vulnerable and protective as I was after the procedures. I was grateful to be able to ignore that instruction and rest and care for my body in a way that honored it and what it had just gone through. But that instruction angered me, because it is an instruction that is more telling about a normalized but harmful message. Of course, it's open for interpretation, but how I hear it is, you don't have to listen to your body. We'll tell you how you should feel after this little procedure, and you can get back to being productive. I mean, that's how you prove your worth, right? Repeatedly and in large scale, we are taught to not really listen to our bodies, enculturated to not value the body's wisdom, and therefore not pay attention to our body as wisdom. Most of us have learned over generations to not include the body as something to be in relationship with. But there's a conflict. We've all been given this prescription to take care of our bodies, right? A popular blanket message to do something with that body of yours. Move it, work it, stretch it, rest it, feed it healthy foods, hydrate it. Just follow these steps and live your best life. And you've probably been offered good instructions on how to do these things to keep the body, or hopefully keep a body functioning healthily. It is outside information that we take in, prescriptive. But what have we been taught about living in this body? What have we been taught about being in relationship with it and trusting it? In speaking to her childhood into adulthood, my friend Michelle said, "No one showed me the way." So as we are given the prescription to take care of the body, you should do this, it is with little regard for its sacredness and our relationship with that sacredness. And we are intertwined with systems that deny or bully that sacredness. Racialized, fragmenting systems that esteem high productivity, intellectualism, competition, and control as grounds for our worth in the world. Holding the body sacred does not fit into systems that depend on disconnection. We live in a society that has normalized disconnection from the body and even rewarded for that disconnection. Dr. Gabor Mate speaks to this in his book, The Myth of Normal. He says, in our culture of mind-body bifurcation, many of us have become accustomed to ignoring the body's messages. The brain's reward mechanisms may even revel in a manner very much like addiction in the elevated levels of dopamine and endorphins that flow when others appreciate or benefit from our self-denial. An example is our educational institutions. While many are attempting to create positive change towards more body-mind integration, I am witness to many anxious, sleep-deprived college students. There is immense pressure to get straight A's so that they can have a better chance of getting into a master's program. The level of academic performance to prove oneself is fierce and on repeat. What message does this give these young adults about their worth in the world? Adaptive behaviors such as striving, proving, pleasing, over-accommodating have been part of our survival and need to belong, and are part of our collective trauma. If you have felt at any time that part of yourself got lost in order to prove your worth, I invite you to be present with it. Perhaps invite a breath in and out. And acknowledge it within a larger system that has demanded that adaptation for our survival. Somatic abolitionist Resmaa Menakem aptly coined the term white body supremacy, that we live in bodies of racialized trauma, that in order to move from intellectualism to a more holistic understanding, it must include listening to the body and to the embodied experience of trauma. Acknowledging that we are systemically living in bodies in which connection has been denied or refused is a call to remember. This invitation to inhabit, to live in our bodies, it's a bold request for many reasons, and I'll name a couple. It's kind of new for many of us. A couple weeks ago, Reverend Amy talked about the risk of vulnerability and asked if we were willing to. Many of us were not brought up with the encouragement to feel, that certain emotions are not healthy to express, let alone feel. So one of our adaptive behaviors is a lot of thinking. Resmaa Menakem calls it logicizing. We've been enculturated to believe we can think our way past pain, mostly. Menakem says, the body, not the thinking brain, is where we experience most of our pain, pleasure, and joy, and where we process most of what happens to us. It is also where we do most of our healing, including our emotional and psychological healing. And it is where we experience resilience and a sense of flow. Our bodies don't forget, and our bodies have things to tell us. So to feel and honor what we feel, which happens in and through the body, takes courage. This invitation to inhabit our body is also a bold request because we don't know what it might have to tell us. But we do know that whatever it is, it's not gonna lie. It may only be part of the story, but it's not a lie. And, well, we may not be ready to hear what it might have to tell us. And only you can decide what much feels safe enough to expose and when. And I want to stress that. This being in the world with all of our human demands, it is enough. Tuning in and deciding for yourself what is appropriate for you at any given moment, is an act of caring. So I want to share a personal example of checking in with myself. I often do a body scan meditation to check in with my parts. And I have also found that parts work. There's a therapy that's called internal family systems therapy, and they work with parts. So I'll be using that framework. I have found it helpful. The internal family systems, it highlights that internally we have all these parts, that none of them are bad. They all have good intentions. And we have our essential nature, I call it wise self. And that's our leader. So when I finally decide to step into my body, it's not like I enter and boom, there I am, fully living in my body, and my wise self is just listening, and it feels flowy. No. Part of my story is I begin to listen to my body. I feel uncomfortable with what it might have to tell me. And my passionate critic fixer swoops in to take care of the situation. It says, no. You don't have to feel any of this. I got this. I have lots of tools for this. Yep, I see you got a problem. I'll fix it. I have the prescription. Meanwhile, that part that I started with, that wanted to share something with my wise self, has been soothed and bandaged over with a prescription, a manipulation. The part isn't heard, now smothered with symptom relief that it may not have even needed. Then if I am patient enough with these parts, my wise self thanks my fixer for doing what she is so passionate about. I ask her to trust me enough that she can step aside for a bit. Then I can remove the bandages, be with the part, and ask it what it needs. What do you need to tell me? I often don't get to that last part, but I am slowly opening myself to it, or relearning. It's a humbling process. It involves grieving and gratitude and joy for this connection. I reached out to my friend, also named Michelle, to ask her about living in a body. We take a dance class together called 5 Rhythms, created by Gabrielle Roth, was the quote of the billion miles. 5 Rhythms is a bodily exploration of unexplored wilderness of the body. So Michelle was recently told by a doctor that she needed to schedule hip surgery. She's been experiencing varying levels of pain in her hip, but something didn't feel right to her about this quick fix. She trusted herself enough to know she could pause and see what other options might be available. She's presently aware that surgery may be down the road, but she wasn't ready for it. So she's been working with physical therapy and tuning into what her body is requesting. What she shared with me, I can only describe as a beautiful, blossoming relationship with her body that she commits to every day. I carry her wise words with me this morning, and I want to share some of them with you. So we talked about how conditioned we are to adapt to expectations outside of ourselves from the time we are very young, fitting into environments that have said, your voice is not valid. And as those messages get internalized, our own voices and bodies may start to feel unsafe for us to trust ourselves. So learning to trust our body's wisdom was a thread and has been a thread weaving our conversations. So these are her words that I'm going to share, and I might even get passionate as she did with me with them. She said, "For years I was bringing my body along to survive in the world. The body is one of those things that you need to make this and that thing happen, meaning out here. Like a car, break a car, you fix it. Now," she said, "I can put my hand on my body and say, 'Oh, sweet body.'" She said it's a remembering that we are spirit in form. This form is energy that has life. Spirit has been birthed into this body from the moment I was born. This same precious form has traveled with me all these 69 years, she said. It's my same vehicle, and it carries so much experience. And it's hidden experience that has been stored until I was able to hear its voice and hear its wisdom. So this is a commitment of self-love, she said. I've had experiences of not loving myself and giving it away. I know the pain and injury of not loving myself. Self-love is an inner integrity and responsibility to stand up and say, this is important. It requires me to be quiet and still and present. I can't have an agenda, she said. And finally, she said, this body is a living entity, and it's a relationship with a living entity from birth to death. It's our closest partner and dearest friend. It's our greatest ally. It's a priority that the body is a living entity. It's a priority. And it's a willingness to be unfamiliar and in unknown territory, She said, I want to be able to be in that territory and trust that there's a lot of love in that space of holding. I am learning to build that vibrant resonance with trust. I am so grateful for Michelle's reminders. That vibrant resonance, we are that. We are beings that pulsate, expand, contract, resonate, and breathe with the gravitational pulls of Earth, Sun, and Moon, and each other. We're made up of food, and earth, and water, and sun, and air, and space. Elements residing and reciprocating within and outside of the container of our skin. We are this living entity. And our instruction manual is 1 billion miles of wilderness. You get to decide what's appropriate for you, how much, and in your own time. There are a lot of instructions and prescriptions out there that have worked for a lot of people, but only you inhabit your body. And to close, I'll invite us to inhabit our bodies with a little song. I made it up one morning with the help of help of a teacher, Linda Ty. She just would make up songs to sing in the beginning of class. So, and I love it. We get to give ourselves permission to do that. So the song goes like this. Thank you, body. Thank you, all the parts. Thank you, life. I love you. Okay? Let's try it. If you feel so moved, try it with me. Thank you, body. Thank you, all the parts. Thank you, life. I love you. Thank you, everyone.
So it's time to extinguish our chalice. We extinguish our chalice, but the light is carried forth in and through you, through us, out into the world.
Please rise in body or spirit for our benediction from Eric Williams. Blessed is the path on which you travel. Blessed is the body that carries you upon it. Blessed is your heart that has heard the call. Blessed is your mind that discerns the way. Blessed is the gift that you will receive by going. Truly blessed is the gift that you will become on the journey. May you go forth in peace.